We love this movie, but loving something doesn't mean it's flawless.
Oh my, I'd forgotten how much I hate space travel.
And Star Wars: A New Hope has a few cracks we've learned to look past.
Everything's under control, situation normal.
Not because they ruin the film, but because admitting them is uncomfortable. Today, we're finally going to look at those cracks, not to tear this movie down, but to understand why they still matter. Let's be clear right from the start. Star Wars: A New Hope is one of the most important movies ever made. It changed cinema. It created a galaxy that millions of people still live in decades later. But when a film becomes this beloved, something strange happens. We stop talking about what didn't work. We explain it away. We defend it instinctively. And over time, those small issues get buried under nostalgia. This video isn't about tearing apart a classic. It's about being honest with it. Because sometimes the things we ignore are the very things that shaped what came next, for better and for worse. So let's talk about 5 flaws in A New Hope, the ones we pretend aren't there. Flaw number 1. The story moves too fast for its own good. One of A New Hope's greatest strengths is its pacing, but it's also one of its quietest flaws.
Looks like the Sand People did this all right. Look, there's gaffy sticks, bantha tracks. It's just, I've never heard them hitting anything this big before.
They didn't, but we are meant to think they did. These tracks are side by side. Sand People always ride single file to hide their numbers.
The story moves fast, sometimes too fast. Luke loses his aunt and uncle, and within minutes, he's off-world. The destruction of his home is emotionally massive, but narratively brief. There's no space to sit with grief, no pause to process loss. For first-time viewers, the momentum is exhilarating. But on rewatch, you can feel how much emotional weight gets skipped. This matters because Star Wars is ultimately a character-driven saga, and here, the movie sometimes prioritizes movement over depth. Later films would slow things down. They would let moments breathe.
How long have you had these droids?
About 3 or 4 seasons?
They're up for sale if you want them.
Let me see your identification.
But A New Hope rarely looks back. It's always racing forward. That speed helped launch the saga, but it also set a precedent. Emotion often came second to momentum. Flaw number 2. Luke's transformation happens mostly off-screen. Luke Skywalker is one of the greatest heroes in film history, but his transformation in A New Hope is incomplete. We meet Luke as a bored farm boy, dreaming of adventure. We leave him as a victorious pilot, trusted with the fate of the galaxy. That's a huge leap, and most of it happens between scenes. Luke receives very little actual training. His understanding of the Force is mostly theoretical.
You see? You can do it.
I call it luck.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
His confidence as a pilot is implied rather than shown. In fact, Lucas shot a now-deleted scene where Luke's ability as a pilot is discussed.
Luke! I don't believe it! Oh, Big! Hey, how are you?
Oh, are you sure this is what you want?
Listen, have I got some stories to tell you?
You sure you can handle this shit, sir?
Luke is the best bush pilot in the Outer Rim territories.
I met your father once when I was just a boy. He was a great pilot. You've got half the skill he had, you'll do all right.
The finished movie asks us to accept that Luke is ready, and we do, because we want to believe in him. But that belief is doing a lot of the work. Later films would fix this by showing failure, doubt, and struggle. But here, the transformation feels compressed. It works emotionally, but not structurally, and that gap would echo throughout the saga, especially in how later films struggled to portray growth believably. Flaw number 3. The Empire feels strangely incompetent. Darth Vader is iconic, but the Empire around him, not always. For an authoritarian regime that rules the galaxy, the Empire makes a lot of questionable decisions. They let escape pods go unchecked. They repeatedly underestimate their enemies. They allow crucial prisoners to escape, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. The story explains some of this as strategy, but visually and narratively, the Empire often feels clumsy. This creates an imbalance. The rebels feel scrappy and outmatched, but not always outsmarted. Vader himself commands fear and authority, but the system he serves sometimes feels inefficient and careless. That tonal mismatch matters, because the more competent the villain, the greater the hero's victory feels. Later films would sharpen this, but A New Hope occasionally undercuts its own stakes. Flaw number 4. The world building is incredible and underdeveloped. This one is hard to admit, because A New Hope introduced one of the richest fictional universes ever created, but it also barely explains it. We hear references to the Clone Wars, the Jedi Order, the Republic, the Force, and in A New Hope, none of it is fully explored. At the time, this mystery felt magical. It made the galaxy feel vast and lived in, but it also meant that crucial ideas were vague. What exactly were the Jedi? Why did they disappear? How did the Republic fall? These unanswered questions fueled decades of storytelling, but they also left narrative gaps that later films struggled to fill cleanly. The myth was powerful, the details were thin, and once you start filling in those gaps, you risk breaking the magic. Flaw number 5. The final victory feels too easy. The Death Star is terrifying until it isn't. The final battle is thrilling, iconic, unforgettable, but from a storytelling perspective, it's surprisingly simple. One small weakness, one trench, one lucky shot. The stakes are enormous. The solution is convenient. The Force explanation helps. The emotional payoff works. But structurally, the victory doesn't require much sacrifice. No major hero dies in the final act. No irreversible cost is paid. This isn't wrong, but it's notable. Later films would add consequences, failure, loss. But here, the triumph is clean and uncomplicated. It feels good, but it also sets expectations that would be hard to maintain. None of these flaws ruin A New Hope, but they shape everything that comes after. They explain why later films slowed down, why training became more explicit, why villains became more complex, why stakes grew heavier. These cracks didn't weaken the saga, they defined it, and pretending they aren't there does a disservice to how Star Wars actually evolved. Great stories aren't born perfect, they grow, and growth starts with imperfection. Now here's the interesting question. What if one of these flaws had been addressed? What if a single moment in A New Hope had gone differently?
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Not enough to break the story, but enough to change its trajectory. That's where Galaxy ReForged comes in. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one and explore where one small change can reshape the entire galaxy. May the Force be with you, always.